Live from isolation, it is Josh Withers. My name is exactly that, Josh Withers, and I'm a civil marriage celebrant. And this is a show which exists so that people that don't identify with the rig can get married and be married in a meaningful and an awesome and a special way. This is the Rebel's Guide to Getting Married. Now, normally episodes of this show are all about getting married, like the process of actually planning a wedding, which is important, and we'll be back to that after this irregular programming. But if you've ever attended a marriage ceremony of mine, you know that I believe that marriage isn't just a binary value that you kind of tick over as you get married, that you go from not married to yes married as you go through the marriage ceremony, but it's a process that you involve yourself in, that you have to be present in, that it's a river you jump in, and it would just be happening to you, be happening with you, that you would be an active participant in it, but it would be also something that you're affected by, that this marriage is like a storm that you jump into the middle of. And I like that analogy because I think a great marriage is a messy, weird, crazy, awkward, strange, beautiful marriage. And at the very heart, it's beautiful by its mess. That the purity in it is that it's unlike any other, that it hasn't got anyone else but you two freaks in it, and that's what makes it beautiful. So for this Rebel's Guide episode, I actually wanted to address the fact that so many people that are married are in closer quarters. We're kind of a little bit more there. Not so much here, more there. And I think that's beautiful, but there's fresh conversations that are needed to be had about what our marriage looks like now that we're in these close, beautiful quarters that we call self-isolation or sheltering in place. So many married couples would find themselves in close quarters today, far closer quarters than they ever imagined. Even Britt and I, who live and work in close quarters, Britt's used to me travelling a lot, and we do a lot of live over FaceTime or Skype or whatever. And so even us, we're forced to look at our marriage and actually be very deliberate about what it looks like. Which is why this article that came through on my Medium app this morning, medium.com, hit a nerve with me. And with full disclosure, none of what's coming here is a fresh thought from me, but I think it's beautiful, I think it's good, and I think all of us should engage in it. It's by Jancy Dunn, and the title of the article, if you Google this, I'm sure you'll find it, is A Therapist's Simple Rule Transformed My Marriage. Subheading, treat your spouse with the same level of politeness you would afford like any other human being. Jancy's therapist gave her this beautiful technique to work with her husband on so that they could actually have a great marriage. And I think this is one of the most powerful lines I've ever heard a therapist say. And I'm sure other therapists have said it, but for people that are cooped up together, that are working at the same kitchen table at one end to another, people that are scratched into the same lounge room office, I think this is something important for us all to hear today. So quoting the therapist, he says, "Here's a rule I want you to live by. I would like you to make a commitment to what I call full respect living." The premise was simple, he said. Nothing you do or say to each other should drop below the level of simple respect. That's it. Just treat each other with respect. He goes on to say, that doesn't mean you can't stand up for yourself. There's a big difference between aggressive and assertive, and there's no place for harshness in a loving relationship. None. If you get nothing from today other than this one thing, you may change your marriage. Then he went on and gave a list of behaviours that were off the table from the day forward. He said, no name calling, no swearing, no ridiculing, no shouting, no venting, no ignoring. He goes, it all ends today. Whenever you're about to do something, ask yourself this question. Is it respectful? I'll be the first to tell you that as much as I think about marriage, my marriage, your marriage, everyone's marriage so much, that I'm a pretty terrible husband at different times of my life. That there's definitely been times that I haven't treated Britt with respect. And today I apologise to her for that. And I don't even know if she read the whole article. I sent her the article and I apologise, and we haven't had a full chat about it. So I'm sure this will get published and we'll have a chat about it later tonight. But I really felt it was like a word for today. That if you're cooped up with your partner, and heck, even if you're not, that this would be a really good time to jump on board the respect train. And I feel that some people might say, oh, but what if they're not on board the respect train? But you can be the person who says, I'm going to treat you with respect. And as you go to say something, as you go to do something, that you would ask, is this respectful to them? Jancy ends out her article with this. She says, there is not one thing that harshness does that loving firmness doesn't do better. Man. Just a little word for today on being married. You see, getting married is powerful, but I hope and I pray and I just, with all of my insides, I hope that your marriage is far better than your wedding. So if you're planning a wedding through these times, work on the marriage being awesome too. In fact, dare I say, if you had to put $1 somewhere, it would be into your marriage, not into your wedding. My name is Josh Withers. This is The Rebel's Guide to Getting Married. You can find other episodes at therebels.guide. My website is joshwithers.com.au, and I'm online at Hello Josh Withers on Facebook and Instagram. And I did want to round out the episode with just one more credit to the author and also the therapist, because honestly, they did the heavy lifting in this episode. G&C Dunn, that's JANCEEDUNN, G&C Dunn. And the article is A Therapist's Simple Rule Transformed My Marriage. And the therapist, Terry Real.